Hello, Facebook Live for Saturday, April 8th, 2017. Last night for fans of one of my favorite shows of all time, of course. I'm talking about Shark Tank. It was off for about a month. Back again last night. First time since I've been doing these Facebook Live videos, so I just have to talk about it today. And I won't spoil the show for you if you haven't watched it yet, because some people watch it with a DVR, or maybe you watch it later online somewhere. You find it, or you watch replays, or whatever you do. But it was, as usual, fun and hilarious. It's always a fantastic, all-out celebration of what actually built America and made the country great and makes the world great: entrepreneurialism and capitalism. Okay, people that have an idea and then take resources and rearrange them and put them together, money, materials, people, connections, to create something better for the benefit of all. And after they do all that, most of the time they get nothing in return except the fun of entrepreneurialism and the struggles and the stories that go along with it. But once in a while they hit a big home run, and it is a massive financial success as well, which then of course does more good things for society by them being able to hire people, and we then serve communities more, and all the people that we're hiring and all the suppliers that we're paying are, building their houses and buying their cars and shopping in stores. And that's basically how the world became and stays unbelievably fantastic places through entrepreneurialism, period. And so fantastic to see the Shark Tank back. And I wanted to share with you, nothing in particular, there's some great stuff. I mean, there's one guy, again, I don't want to ruin it for you. There's a guy with an absolutely ridiculous product that he turned into a business. There's another, a woman who is showing the lesson that never confuse schooling with education. She actually was teaching entrepreneurialism and then realized, what the heck is that about? There's no better way to teach entrepreneurialism than to actually be an entrepreneur. But until then, she'd never been an entrepreneur. So if you're in school or think or have kids or somebody who's going to school to learn entrepreneurialism, realize that you're likely not learning it from anybody who was a successful entrepreneur, or almost by definition they wouldn't be in a school somewhere teaching it. So be careful about that. It reminds me, I have a law degree, and back when I was in law school, one of my professors, who was a corporate law and accounting, those are the two classes I took with him: corporate law and accounting law, or law for accounting, or whatever it was called. But he even told us straight out, he said, look, here's the deal though, I've never had a job as a corporate lawyer. So take it with a grain of salt, anything I'm teaching you, because I'm teaching you right out of the book, but I don't know what it's really like to be a corporate lawyer. So I'm teaching you corporate law, book style, so you could pass the test and pass the bar and all that, but I was never a corporate lawyer. So there's an honest professor letting you know that you're not actually learning what it takes to be a corporate attorney just by going to a course in corporate law. And same thing with entrepreneurialism, of course. You're not going to learn it reading a book. You're not going to learn it going to a conference or a webinar or reading things online or going to school or any of that nonsense. You just got to get out and take action. So with that, here are the three basic lessons that are three phenomenal lessons that you'll learn anytime you watch Shark Tank. You will see this in every single pitch. So I want you to watch for it, but more importantly, I want you to do it. And if you're already doing it in your business, I want you to every day to wake up and think, how can I do these things better? That's it. Three things key to entrepreneurial success. So number one is know your numbers. Okay? Even if once in a while the entrepreneur on the Shark Tank is going to offer their numbers, almost always one or more of the sharks are going to ask for more detail and more facts about the numbers. So they're either going to ask, or the person's going to volunteer, or the sharks are just going to dive into more detail, because that's the number one thing. Hey, Jerry. Hey, how cool is that? So there you go. Jerry just watched an episode. Was that the episode that was on yesterday on TV, last night's episode? Pretty exciting if it was. Even if it wasn't, these I'm sure you can second my what I'm sharing here today. My insight is that you saw these three things in every pitch. So number one is the numbers. You got to know the numbers. I cannot tell you how many times I get on the phone and I give one of my free $10,000 marketing turnaround consultations where I guarantee to find the person within 15 minutes or less, and it's usually a lot more, at least $10,000, happens all the time, almost always a lot more than that. But man, it frustrates me when I ask them a question because like, how can I help you improve your numbers, make more money, build your business if you don't even know your numbers? So I ask simple questions and they get stumped and I can't go any further. I'm like, well, then, I'll help you with this, but man, I can help you with the numbers. Number one, you got to know the numbers. Yeah. That was the one. That was last night's. Very good. Yeah, that was the, what do you call it? That weather pod thing, a hilarious thing. And what a great story, that guy, right? And that's the second lesson. Story. You've got to have a story. So again, either the person doing the pitch, the entrepreneur, is going to share his or her story, or the sharks are going to ask for it. So you'll see this in every episode. They will say, okay, so where'd you come up with this idea? Or why'd you start this business? Or why are you doing this? So it's way too complex for one Facebook Live video here, so I'll cover it in later Facebook Live videos, I'm sure, but you got to have an origin story, a heroic story, a story about why you're doing this, and it's not just, I want to make a lot of money. In fact, Jerry is, yes, thank you. So Jerry's saying are the key, and Jerry's talking about the guy with the outdoor pod thing who got 600 grand from Mark Cuban for 15%. Did he tell an awesome emotional story or what? And he, you can't, obviously, if you don't have this, I don't wish it on anybody, be it a tragedy in his family and all this, but he had a story, and all his sales, which is why he got 3 offers all over the place. I think it was 3 offers he got out of the 5 sharks, because his sales, he said, I remember, he only spent $11,000 on advertising to sell however many ridiculous, hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales, or over $1 million in sales, right? It was over $1 million in sales, 11,000 in advertising. So bottom line, that's pretty much all word of mouth. I remember Mark Cuban asked him, have you done any SEM or whatever? That's search engine marketing. That's something to do with having the search engines when people are searching for solutions for their problems, and you come up. So Mark is that online tech guy who asked that question. And he was like, yeah, we did $500 a month for the last few months. In other words, nothing for $1 million in sales. So it was like all word of mouth. Well, word of mouth means that's part of the story. And it means there's a story. That means when parents show up on the sidelines of their kid's soccer game and it's raining and windy and cool and they get into one of those crazy weather pod things he was showing, and suddenly he said it was 35 degrees warmer than it was outside because your body heat is contained in the plastic and you're safe from all the elements of the wind and the rain and the heat and the sun and all that kind of stuff, and you can still cheer and yell and whatever. And you saw a photo like 20 of them all lined up on the sidelines. And so all he's got to do is get one person and one parent at a soccer game, and people out there that have multiple kids know that you're carting them around to multiple. So one family had one of these on the sideline on a chilly, brutal day. I don't even have kids, but I remember going to these and sitting in my car. I was like, there is no way I'm standing on the sideline for 2 hours. I mean, you're all running around out there in the field, so you're staying somewhat warm, but I'm just standing here being miserable in the elements. Forget that, I'm going in the car. So much better than the car. The parking lot is, let's sit right on the field in this pod, but word of mouth, boom. Story. You could see the parents take that thing off the back, open it up, get in it, and the stories they can tell. Man, oh, yeah, everyone else was chattering and wet and cold and freezing and miserable, and I was all having, and the word spreads and spreads and spreads. So story about the product, story about you, story about the company, your origin, why you're doing this, where you want to go. Those are stories you just got to have in your toolkit. Those are tools in the toolbox of building any successful business. The numbers, the story, and the third thing that every successful pitch on the Shark Tank and pretty much anywhere else has got to have is demonstration. Demonstration. I just talked about that pod thing that Jerry's bringing up. $2 million in sales. Love it. So he had a demonstration, right? He took the pod. First of all, it was on his back the whole time he's giving a pitch, and it didn't look heavy at all. And then he said, so here I invented this thing, and he unstrapped the thing, and he, watch how quick it is to set up. Boom. He didn't just say you can set it up quickly. He just said, watch this, but boom, and the thing immediately set up. And then he said, watch how it works. And a couple of the sharks get over there, Lori and somebody else, getting in there, and he Oh, Damon, of course, my favorite shark. Damon is in there, and Damon's like, looking at the outside, and he goes, Damon, zip that thing up, it's raining. And suddenly water starts pouring out of the sky or out of the studio ceiling, and wind and leaves are blowing, and it's a hilarious demonstration. So the sharks in there, and they came out and said, yeah, wow, I didn't feel the rain. Lori said something like, gee, it's a little tough to see outside of the plastic. Well, that's a small price to pay, as $2 million in sales shows, for being warm and dry and not blown all over the place by the wind. So I'm pretty sure, again, my comparison is sitting in the car. And sitting in the car is not only tough to see, but of course the windshield wipers were going. So what would you rather have? Sitting in a car, 100 feet away in a parking lot, windshield wipers going, or sitting right there on the field in a chair, in a pod, protected from everything, loving light. But that's nowhere without the demonstration. Okay, so you're going to see these three things in every Shark Tank presentation, pitch, whatever you want to call it. Now, here's the thing. Every contestant, I know a few people have been on the Shark Tank. Every contestant goes on the Shark Tank. They are assigned a producer, usually multiple producers, who prepare them months in advance or what to do on the show, and and sometimes it's amazing they fail when they don't know their numbers, but they prepare them for these three things. You've got to know your numbers, got to have a great story to tell, and you got to do a great fun demonstration. So they're coached on it. They're helped with it. They got consultants to coach them through these three things. What about you, dear business owner? Now, of course, I'm not talking to Jerry Aginski, who is you'd think I know how to pronounce your name after watching 17 bazillion of, I think you have 25,000 online videos at your legal practice, and Jerry teaches attorneys how to market their practice with video. And in fact, I'll bet that you could help any business owner to better market themselves through video. Am I right? I'm just going to say that I'm right. Contact Jerry. And you'd think I know how to pronounce his name after I've heard him say it 7,000 times on the videos, Jerry Aginski. So, wherever I was, that's it, folks. Who do you have, right? Who do you have coaching and consulting you on making more sales, growing your business? Going it alone, if somebody went on the Shark Tank without having a producer, without being coached with whoever, not only would it be a disaster, but it's likely, maybe even that happens once, you'll never see it. It'll be edited out of the show. They won't get any deals. There'll be a disaster. It'll be terrible. And maybe you will get an opportunity, you never know where you are, or maybe the phone will ring and a possible investor wants to give you dollars, help your business grow. Maybe they just want to make a big order and buy something. Maybe new clients want to come along. Some opportunity is going to come along, and if they are anybody worth anything, and if they're for real, they're going to want to know those three things. They're going to want to know your numbers, your story, and a demonstration. Know that you have those three things down cold. And here's the thing, I said it in the beginning of this video. Even if you have all these three things, you're always working on making better. I wake up every day thinking, how can I get people to buy more stuff? How can I improve my profit margins? How can I improve my revenue? How can I improve my numbers? I'm looking at time and I'm saying, how can I get more money out of my advertising and marketing? How can I raise my prices and provide more value? I'm looking at the numbers, always am thinking about my story. Whenever something happens that the non-entrepreneurs of the world would think is bad or negative, I'm thinking, wow, that's part of my story. Makes it even a better story. I'm always thinking about my story for me and for my clients. Okay? And demonstration. I'm always thinking, gee, how can I demonstrate this better? If you're selling online, I mean, here, I'm in a video. So if I had, and I'll do that. And I'm going to show this tomorrow because I was going to talk about this today. This is another cool thing I got in the mail today. So I'm not just going to say I got a cool thing in the mail. I don't know what's in here, but it sounds cool. I'm going to open this up live on camera tomorrow, and my guess is, maybe I even broke, what is it? Well, then it was probably already broken. Nothing against post office people. But there's going to be a demonstration of how to do mail when that's an excellent piece of mail. And if it's got some deficiencies and needs some help, I'm going to demonstrate what could be done to make it better. So demonstration, story, know your numbers. 3 lessons. You'll see it on every Shark Tank, and you'll find out in real life every time you try to sell anything or attract a customer, even if they don't know it, they're going to want to know those things, the numbers, the story, the demonstration. That's the key, 3 keys to a successful business. You can learn, and you'll see it on every single episode in every single segment of the Shark Tank, I predict. next Friday on the Shark Tank, the next episode, you will see those 3 elements on every single pitch. So that's it for today. Have a fantastic rest of your Saturday. I'll be back again tomorrow with another Facebook Live video. And thank you so much, Jerry, for being here along and adding to the fun that we're having on the Facebook Live video. Thanks. Over.